Peace, assalamu alaikum. This is your brother Rahim coming at you again, your investigative reporter, with another edition, Rahim versus Ahlazar the Israelite Japheth, being Caucasian Part 2. We're going to go right into this. First, I'm going to use geographical evidence about Japheth and some of Esau, because the Israelites have this thing that they're making that Esau is basically the first Caucasian, when that is not the fact. Japheth was the first Caucasian and his progeny that was in Europe thousands of years before Esau came on the scene. Let's go straight into it. Today we see the Red Sea separating two distant lands, Africa and Arabia, but in antiquity it was not seen that way. Indeed, in the world of the classical antiquity, from Herodotus to Strabo, the term Arabia included across the Red Sea up until the Nile. It wasn't the Red Sea, but the Nile that constituted the boundary between Africa and Asia. These Greek and Roman sources point to the same phenomenon as the ancient Near Eastern sources, that the Red Sea did not serve as an ethnic boundary and land on both its sides. She had the same name, whether that name was Arabia in the Greek source or Cush in the Bible. There's your source, David M. Goldenberg, Curse of Ham, pages 18 and 19. This is from the book Black Arabia and the African Origin of Islam. We're going to use another source, because I like to give not just one source, but two or three. But we'll stay with two. I have many sources, people, but we'll stay with two. Arabia resembles African Sahara, of which it is but a continuation, meaning it's a continuation of Africa, meaning Arabia is one room of Africa. Its general characteristics are African. Arabia, roughly summed up, is composed of 1/3 coast ring and mountains, 1/3 central plateau, which is tolerably fertile, and 1/3 desert circle. Throughout the highland of Nejd, though the days are hot, the nights are cool and pleasant. Here, epidemic diseases are rare. It is very hot below in the plains. I want y'all to remember, very hot. Says that the division of sandy, stony, and happy, so familiar to the Greeks and Latin, is unknown to the Arabians of today. This is because they were terms used by the early Cushite Arabians. Arabia was originally settled by two distant races: an early Cushite Ethiopian race and a later Semitic Arabian. Okay, so you can read the rest if you want, for your own pleasure. This is coming from Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Cushite Empire by Drusilla Dungy Houston, pages 113, 114. So now we know that Arabia is Africa, and Mount Sinai, whatever's in Mount Sinai, is part of Arabia, which you see in this map here, which is from Black Arabia and the African Origin of Islam. Has a map and it shows you the part: Arabia, Kusha, Dweepa, Tar, Netta, Punt, according to the Egyptian, Sanskrit, and Greek sources. Giving you three sources that says this. This is how Arabia looked. The Red Sea didn't basically separate the races or ethnic races, as Dungy Houston said. You can see where the Nile is, and you can see where Arabia is still across the Red Sea going west to Egypt. So the Red Sea was only just a Red Sea. It didn't mean the other people on the other side were totally different. No, they weren't. So as you can see the map, that's how it looked, until we got the Carter map, which is done by European and have been used ever since. It never had boundaries as you see the map today. But let's go on. This is the Hebrews map according to them. As you can see, Japheth is in the European terrain or area. The Caucasus, as you can see, the Caucasus Mountains. As you can see, Gomer, Magog is deep into the Europe, where it's the cold climate. They were Caucasians, and I'm gonna show you that in a minute, proven by the biblical sources. You see Ashkenazi or Ashkenaz, but you have Ashkenazi Jews, especially ones in Israel. You have East Orthodox Jews, you have Ashkenazi Jews, and you have Hasidic Jews, and maybe some other denominations. But as you can see, Scythian and Magog, Madai, these are the places where Paul went. Okay, so here it is in front of you where they are. This is their map from the International Bible Encyclopedia, and this is the map by the Hebrews, and this is the 1854 by Coleman. Look it up. You see where they are. This is geographical evidence. Our people are not going to live up in no cold climate like that. And no, those that live up in cold climates are not dark. They are of lighter skin, because when you move up into the wet and damp location like that, your pigment changes because it's cold, wet, and damp, less sunlight, less vitamin D. And I showed that in the part 1, how those people that live in Siberia, and they are light people. They are light skinned. Let's move on. This is Noah's progeny. As you can see, Jacob and Esau is in Northeast Africa, Arabia. That's what Arabia is, Northeast Africa. And you see Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshesh, Tyrus is in Europe. I just showed you the map. But let's move on. Look where Edom is. Edom is sitting in Mount Sinai, which is Arabia. I already proved that to you. Is in Arabia. Those Caucasians were not living in that time basically like that and under that hot weather. That's why I said, remember the hot. Even today, when they go over there to visit, they be running from the sun. So, yeah, take that into account. He was a Shemite. Genesis chapter 25 verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. This is why he was called Edom, because he had a red pottage. Genesis 25 verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. This is the map where Abraham traveled from Ur all the way to Egypt. And you can see it. I already proved in another video where Ur is basically in Arabia, hidden borderline going into past, well, it's not even past Euphrates, but it's borderline going to Persia. And you see Babylon, etc. And then you see Edom in Mount Sinai. All that's Arabia. Again, another map. Look where Ur is. It's in Arabia. Let's keep going. Japheth. from the Eastern Bible Dictionary. Widespreading. God shall enlarge. Japheth. Hebrews Japheth. Elohim le Japheth. Some, however, derive the name from Yafa, to be beautiful, hence white. Okay, that's what the Eastern Bible Dictionary says. Now, let's see what the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia says. This name in Genesis chapter 9 verse 27 seems to be explained by the phrase, may God make wide. For Japheth, where Yaph and Japheth are represented by the same consonants but with different vowel points. The root of Yaph is pathax, to make wide. This etymology, however, is not universally accepted, as the wordplay is so obvious, and the association of Japheth with Shem, dark, Ham, black, suggests a name on similar lines, either gentilic or descriptive of race. Watch this, people. Japheth has therefore been explained as meaning fair from Yafa, the non-Sem, non-Hamitic races known to the Jews being all more or less white-skinned. And you can read down his descendants, as I showed before, Ashkenaz. So, basically, there you have it, people. It's just that easy. With the sources I just gave you. It's just that easy. Okay? Just because Esau is named red, he may have been light-skinned red. You have light-skinned people that are reddish. You have brown-skinned people who have a red tint to them. Doesn't mean he was white-skinned. But why they keep saying that Japheth has white skin, which is not really white, but meaning he's pale. But they don't say that about Esau. Just say he's red. Okay, so there you have it. Not coming from me. This is from these people books. Okay, so that's the geological location, the ethnic background. They're giving you basically what's in his epidermis. No melanin. Okay, so there you have it. You can see where he's trying to make Edom, or Israelites, Ahlazar and the Israelites trying to make Edom basically the first Europeans, when that's a lie, because the first Europeans basically from their book is Japheth, and he had many nations. Did any of Edom people move to the Caucasus Mountains? Doesn't show that. It shows them in Arabia, staying in Arabia. Okay? Shows Japheth people all up in the Caucasus Mountains, deep in Europe. So, study your biology, study your epigraphic evidence, hard data, critically analyze, study biology, the anatomy, geological locations, geographic locations, everything that you get your hands on, and you would know this type of stuff. It was just that easy. I didn't have to go into the mystical, magical just to prove my point. So, with that, everyone, hope you learned something. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I hope I can answer them. If I can't, I know to go to the sources to get it. So with that, I say assalamu alaikum and peace to everyone out there.